Thank you very much, Stephen. That's very much a speech in your power zone there for the internet. Isn't he beautiful, ladies and gentlemen? All in white, John Travolta, Saturday Night Fever. This is his prom outfit also, so I think it's cute. Lovely there, Chris. I thought I was going to get up here today and tell you that Chris had been accepted to Carnegie Mellon and he might likely go there and major in economics and business. And then the mail came yesterday. There's a big envelope for Chris. It came from the Bondurant School of High Performance Driving. They offered him a chance to go pro. So those of you who know what that's in reference to, can figure that out. He is noted for his driving skills and that. To be serious about this young man over here, though, Shakespeare said in Hamlet that brevity is the soul of wit. I don't think we hear too much from Chris, except his robotics announcements. But other than that, he doesn't tend to speak out much in class. Whenever he does offer a remark, it's pertinent, brilliant, insightful. But generally, he's laid back. He goes through life here. We don't see him too much up on the stage. But that hides a brilliant intellect, a cunning mind, and a great character. Many of you know that he's an Eagle Scout. Certainly that takes a great deal of work, time, energy, commitment, and strong moral values and character. Just like his older brother, and many in our community like Blake and that. We all know him for the robotics leadership that he's exhibited over the past year, and he's going to turn it over to that scoundrel Dylan apparently next year. They'll go in the tank at that point, I'm sure, with Dylan's leadership skills. But it's kind of nice having these two guys up here because their older siblings were some of the founder members of robotics, and they led it to some very prestigious competition. One of the great things about us is we're a small school of only about 240 kids, but you heard how they ranked against schools in robotics in March with over 2,000 kids. We do it in speech and debate. We have the rare ability to put together small numbers of truly inspired, brilliant, ambitious young minds, and we compete with the giants. And that's what this young man is. He is maybe going to go off to Carnegie Mellon and become brilliant in business, finance, whatever he chooses to do. He's already showing that here. I mean, he's carrying a very difficult academic load of 3 APs. That backed by his great jazz performance. Some of you, especially the seniors, will remember he was part of a band called Speedland with his older brother and other PCS kids. Very good. They were a garage band, rock band, highly competitive. I think you came in maybe second or third in a local competition. So he's a little bit of a Renaissance guy as well. But beyond that, Chris is just everything that is good about school, about your generation. Talented, caring, concerned. And he's going to reveal some of that to you in one of 2 speeches that he wrote, because Chris is kind of crazy. He has 2 speeches. I'm not sure which one he's going to deliver. I'll let you decide that. I'll be a little nervous over there because one is edgy and one is very safe, all of that. But I think whichever one he does decide to do, if you know Stephen Colbert, the more you know about Stephen Colbert, and the smarter you are, and the more you listen, you'll get it. So I'm proud today to bring up the lovely Chris Appleton.
Truly mean to live in unity? I ask myself this question every day of my life. We use the term unity loosely as we form organizations such as the United Nations or United Healthcare. Even our founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence named our country the United States of America. We preach that an ideal place or country is one that is both unified and diverse. But how does that paradox really make sense? How can a place be both diverse and unified if those words are truly opposites? But in reality, this idea makes perfect sense. In this ideal organization, a group of diverse people should be able to put aside the differences of race, culture, religion, and sexuality, and come together as a single community. But despite the fact that we arrogantly call ourselves the United States of America, we are almost the epitome of disarray. We are divided over almost every issue, whether it be gay rights, or increasing taxes, or whether Justin Bieber should be deported to Canada or not. But is there a way to reclaim the unity that we once had? Well, guess what? I found the solution, and the very solution lies within our history. We must look at when our country was most unified in the past. When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, we were very angry. How dare they destroy the planes that weren't even flying? How dare they blow up some of our oil? So we declared war on the Japanese. We loathed the Japanese and immediately forced all Japanese Americans in the West Coast into intern camps like they deserved, because clearly they were the ones to blame. We spent millions of dollars to send soldiers into Japan, Germany, and Italy. But that was not enough. Those planes were worth more than that. We could do better. We developed the world's first atomic bombs, dropping them on 2 Japanese cities, killing many innocent civilians. We were unified under one common enemy. While our country had just suffered from the Great Depression, our unification under the discrimination of one common enemy led to what is considered the golden era of American capitalism. We created over $200 billion in war bonds. The middle class thrived, and our GDP was near its highest. By discriminating against the Japanese in both Japan and the United States, we pulled ourselves out of the Great Depression and created huge economic growth in our country. September 11, 2001. Almost 3,000 people died that day. The World Trade Center was attacked by Al-Qaeda. By association, many Americans began to discriminate against all Muslims, not just extremists. This became apparent in schools, where many children were bullied. In work, where many Muslims lost their jobs, and in airports with the TSA. These TSA checks discriminate against all suspicious-looking individuals, which typically means non-whites, like Muslims or Sikhs. Now, the Sikhs were so frustrated with the TSA that they created an iPhone app for all people to complain to the TSA personally, called Flyrates 2.0. Now, the TSA spokeswoman, Sterling Payne, takes pride in stating that only 11 people complained to the TSA using the app. Well, only 15 people actually downloaded the app. You waste of space. So about 73% of all people who downloaded it actually complained. The rest probably didn't even know about the app. Now, I understand that the TSA is necessary, unlike one commentator on the USA Today, Bill Fisher. Bill Fisher stated that the whole TSA approach is stupid, sick, and needs to be overhauled. The TSA has done more damage to our liberty, our way of life, and morality than Al-Qaeda could have ever hoped to do. Now, I feel like that's a little misguided. But I decided to do a bit of research on Bill Fisher because he seemed pretty interesting and I was a little bored. So I looked at his top favorites on Facebook, which included freedom to travel to the USA, abolish the TSA, F the TSA, and Transportation Service Act, more like tolerated sexual assault. Clever, they both have the same acronym. He has not accepted my friend request yet. But I digress. Under this discrimination of Muslims, we began the war on terror under the fabulous George W. Bush, my idol, and our economy soared until the Great Recession of 2008. Discrimination leads to unification, and unification leads to economic prosperity. Therefore, the most cruel and immoral person would say that the way to achieve economic prosperity is by discriminating against other races. To put other races down so that everyone else is happy. By unifying against a single group of people, the discriminators become richer and richer. But now, if you were smart, you would ask me one question. Why aren't we doing this now? The truth is, we are. We are discriminating based on class. We are discriminating against the poor. And you may ask, what do you mean, Chris? Well, let me tell you. In the fair and just state of Arizona, we graciously provide the minimum wage worker with an amiable $7.90 per hour. After taxes, that 40-hour minimum wage worker will take home about $1,000 per month. What an incredible wage! Therefore, they are able to spare a whopping $500 a month for rent, allowing them to live in the undesirable and unsafe apartment complex that they have always desired. after half of their money is cut, the poor already have an exorbitant amount of money left to pay for necessities. The poorest American can survive on $200 for utilities and $300 per month for food and gasoline. Perfect. They have used up all of their money sufficiently and efficiently. But while this minimum wage idea is extremely efficient, with no money left over, only 2% of the population follows this routine. This number is too low. If the number were higher, then we could be earning billions instead of just millions. I could buy another yacht. I could buy another house. Yes, it is true that it is at the expense of the poor lower-class Americans, who would no longer be able to pay for any luxuries. But let's face it, the poor do not need to have fun. The poor do not need to have money for children because they do not need the happiness that comes with children. The poor do not need any luxuries such as Starbucks coffee, or a beer, or a Miley Cyrus CD characteristically called bangers. That would be outrageous. They would have the ability to rise in the social ladder and steal from the billions of dollars that we the rich have worked so hard to collect. The billions of dollars that we love stockpiling in our bank accounts because it looks good. And because we love big numbers and they look beautiful. And the poor would be taking that away from us. And worst of all, the poor would be able to achieve the American dream. That cannot happen. Let me ask, is it worth it? Is it worth the thousands, even millions of Americans to suffer from discrimination so that a few greedy Americans are happy with big numbers and fake but kind of hot gold diggers? Is it morally correct to deprive the innocent and kind from achieving the American dream that they once believed in? And in return, is it right for the rich to greedily stockpile billions of dollars in their bank accounts at the expense of the poor, who do not even have enough money to live a proper life? Are we truly a United States of America, or are we a divided country in the midst of an economic civil war? Earlier I stated that discrimination leads to unification, and unification leads to economic prosperity. Well, the truth is, I lie to all. If it takes discrimination to become united, then you are not truly united. You are not truly American. You are the lie that the United States has become. The only thing that makes a community, a state, a nation truly unified is when we can accept the differences of everyone, whether it be in race, culture, sexuality, religion, or even class. No one is better than the other. And I'm not arguing for socialism, but there's something between that and the dreaded, corrupted capitalist state that we are in. We cannot call ourselves the United States of America until we truly understand that. Maybe we should just call ourselves the States of America. Or maybe we shouldn't call ourselves a country at all. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful messages. Thank you all for your gracious response. We only have 2 more special speeches left.